Thank you for that glorious introduction. So sweet.
You're so welcome.
I love that you called me an ambassador of ease. I've been called worse things. 2 years ago, I changed my name legally from Scott Kalechstein to Scott Grace. And the inspiration for changing my name came from guidance, and the guidance was, you will be an ambassador of grace. You will learn to let it in, you will be dispensing it, you will be like a sponge. And that's what my journey has been like for the last few years. However, this year, when I woke up on January 1st, I heard new instructions. Actually, God's dictionary came down. God's dictionary spoke to me and said, hey, ease is synonymous with grace. So let this year be devoted to being an ambassador of ease. And let things come easily. Easy does it. Go easy on yourself. Easy love. Easy money. Easy. Let life be easy. Ooh, I like that. I liked hearing that those were my marching orders for 2012 and beyond. So I'm going to communicate from a place of ease, and my intention is that you'll get it and love it and take it home and be an ambassador of ease and spread it wherever you go. Are you willing?
Yes.
Great. Now, about a month ago, I was on the East Coast. For the last 21 years, I co-facilitate a couples retreat with my friends Joyce and Barry Bissell in Massachusetts every Memorial Day weekend. And every Memorial Day weekend, from that retreat, I go visit my mother in New York City. And this particular time, I had some pretty heavy bags because I wrote a book. And so now I not only have 9 CDs, but I have a book. Books are heavy. So I had bags full of books and CDs, and I was wondering, how am I going to get from Row, Massachusetts to New York City? And every year I've been asking myself that question. Often there's somebody at the retreat who is going to be driving near New York City. Very rarely is there somebody who goes into New York City. And this time at the retreat, I looked around and people's name tags showed where they lived, and nobody was from anywhere near New York City. And I picked up my bags on Monday morning after I packed them, and I tried to imagine taking public transportation, and I couldn't imagine it. I dropped the bags down, and I said to myself, I'm not going there. I'm not going to struggle with these bags. I'm not going to go that route. I don't know how I'm going to get to New York City, but I know that I'm not going to struggle. I refuse to struggle. I've come too far to break my back. I know that there's a universe that supports me, so I'm going to let go of these struggling thoughts and this perception of having to struggle, and I'm going to see what manifests. And I walked into the retreat that morning, and a man who had been with me all weekend said, gee, Scott, where are you going after the retreat? And I said, I'm going to be visiting my mother in New York City. And he said, oh, well, we have an apartment in New York. And I said, are you going there after the retreat? He said, yes, we are. He goes, where does your mother live? I said, the Upper West Side. And he goes, oh, we're on the Upper West Side. Where does your mother live on the Upper West Side? Oh, on West End Avenue between Columbus and Amsterdam. He goes, that's where we are. What's your mother's apartment building? 140. That's where we are. So me and my bags got escorted to the front door of my mother's apartment without me having to lift a finger. Manifesting with ease. I write poems as spiritual teachings, and I'm going to share with you my most recent poem about manifesting things with ease. This is called If Dr. Seuss Got God. Ask and it's written, it says in the Bible, but if you're like me, then you're really quite liable to ask in a way that is more like complaining. Not like, let there be sun, more like, make it stop raining. And if you are focused on what you don't want, the universe has no choice but to respond by delivering more of what you're focused on. It can drive you to web surf at hopeless.com. Then along comes a poem or a book or a song that helps you to get you've been asking all wrong. Let's say you want money, more love, or a smartphone. Whatever you're wanting, just get in the God zone. The God zone is where you're receptive and calm. It's when you're tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. You get in the zone through prayer and meditation, Then open your eyes and share good vibrations. Then miracles, miracles, watch how they come. Like potato chips, you can't have just one. So let's get relief from beliefs that are making you paddle upstream till your muscles are aching, paddling madly in your quest for more ease. It's a clear classic case of mad paddler's disease. Let go of the oars, you hear somebody say. By the sweat of thy brow causes endless ivey. The current, it moves towards your wildest dreams, and nothing you want is awaiting upstream. Let's say you have nest eggs you'd love to be hatched. Your job's to become a vibrational match. To know in your heart that you fully deserve it, that the whole universe is just itching to serve it. To trust what you're drawn to is drawn to you too. Just as sure as God bless you comes after Achu. Now, some find this all too materialistic, too Pollyanna, not realistic. They might call you selfish as you're getting bolder. But selfish is in the eyes of the beholder. So thank them for sharing, wish them the best, and keep on being selfish with a capital S. Not a selfish that's driven by greed or by fear, but a selfish that's elfish and perfectly clear that a great way to help people out of their cages is to dare to be happy, alive, and outrageous. Your natural high will be highly contagious. Serve the earth by example. It's most advantageous. As you grow in these teachings and make some advances, you'll no longer be driven by your circumstances. The road might have bumps, but you're behind the wheel now. And you got power steering to steer how you feel now. No longer a happiness procrastinator. It's official. You're a conscious co-creator. Consciously choosing more limitless thoughts, tossing out all your shoulds and your have-tos and oughts. Your life has no limits. It keeps getting higher, fueled by the rocket ships of your desires. And whether or not all your prayers bear fruit, you're so happy to pray, you don't give a big hoot. It's a thrill to be tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. Enjoying it all at itsallgod.com. Hanging out in the vortex, hanging out in the God zone, you like it a lot there. But don't get hung up on the way that you got there. Whether Christ, Ernest Holmes, or a Buddhist retreat, all paths lead us up to the same mountain peak. And the top of the mountain does not really care which teacher or method helped get you up there. And when you're on top, it's fun to slide down, to bring your good cheer to the folks on the ground. Not that you'll be on a serious mission. The world's seen enough missionary positions. Your mission's to feel great, and that is enough. Because nothing's more important than feeling God's love. That's how you give the whole world a big hug. Nothing's more important than feeling God's love. You hear something like that, and maybe it's inspiring, but maybe for some of us, there's a part of you going, how come things aren't easy for me? Like, what's wrong with me? How come I'm so unevolved? I've been working at this stuff for a long time, and it just seems like hard work. And now I hear this guy talking about ease. It's like, oh, I should have it easy? Oh, come on. Anybody feel that way? You know, are there any shoulds going on in your head? Just a few shoulds might visit this conversation. I was on a river rafting trip with my friends Joyce and Barry Vassell, who've shown up in this talk a few times now. And there's a place in the rafting trip where everybody goes on this hike up a mountain. And over the course of the years that I've been doing the rafting trip, I knew that my fear of heights prevented me from enjoying that part of the trip. So this time I made the decision not to go and to just hang out by the river while everybody went on their mountain thing. And while I was with my feet dangling in the river, I noticed that I was beating myself up for not confronting, facing, and healing my fear of heights in this safe community of people that love me, that, by the way, really encouraged me to go. Scott, we'll take you there, we'll hold your hand, you'll get over it, you'll get through it. This is about facing fears, this is about taking risks. You do it in a safe community, we're your safe space, we'll take you through it. No, I'm not going up that. So I'm sitting there judging myself for not taking the risk and feeling like I was, PPPPPPPPS. Piss poor, protoplasm poorly designed. I wasn't feeling real good about myself, and I recognized that being hard on myself, and remember this is a talk and the workshop is about manifesting with ease. And one of the key ingredients of learning to manifest with ease is learning to go easy on yourself when you come up against a fear, a limitation, something that is not expressing the unlimitedness of your soul, is learning to go easy with yourself. So I knew that intellectually, but I still had the pattern running over and over again of beating myself up, being hard on myself. And as my feet were dangling in the river and I was listening to my inner critic's sermon about how not good enough I was, I heard the words, handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. And that felt so inspiring to me and soothing. And it just turned on the lights. It made me realize it's so much more important to love myself than anything else. Than any breakthroughs I might have. Self-love is the foundation of all breakthroughs and all happiness. So I got it. And I started handling myself with care. And I wrote a song about it there on the river while everybody else was mountain peaking their experience. So, want to hear it?
Yes.
I want you to sing the chorus with me. I'd like you to get into your bones this idea of handling self with care. It goes like this. Handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Together. Handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Once I thought by now I'd be Mr. Functionality, perfect and complete in every way. But I still get lost and then get found as I walk this sacred stumbling ground. I'd like to reassure me I'm okay. Tired of fumbling in the dirt, I have a heart that can feel hurt. So I hear a voice within me say, handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. There's a judge inside who's sometimes strong, convinced I'm doing everything wrong, so quick to rise up to my prosecution. But as I grow, it's getting clear the judge is just a voice of fear, and gentleness my only real solution. For How can a child of God feel safe if I'm trying to whip myself in shape? There must be another way to grow. The petals of my heart open in a loving self-environment. A flower grows and blooms when it's given the room. So handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Handle yourself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. First person, and maybe put your hand on your heart. I handle myself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. I handle myself with care. There's a precious child of God in there. Let's do more inspiring ease stories that make you realize the universe is set up for you to win. I had a friend a number of years ago who got a notice from their landlord that they had to move out within 30 days. And she and I were talking. She goes, moving has always been such a struggle for me. I don't want it to be so hard. And I only have a little bit of time, and it's so hard to find a place. And I let her vent a little bit. And then I said, okay, we're students of metaphysical truth. What do you want to do? What do you want to create? What do you want to manifest? She goes, oh, I want to manifest the easiest move of my life. I said, that's great. Let's do a treatment on it. Let's pray. Let's hold hands. And we just did a visualization and imagine this is going to be the smoothest move of your life. This is smoother than any of your previous moves. You're going to have fun. It's going to be easy. And part of my mind was going, this is, mumbo jumbo. But I got into it. We got into it. We laughed about it. And we let it go. And the next day, she woke up and got out of her house in her bathrobe to fetch her morning newspaper, and she noticed a for rent sign on the house next door that hadn't been there the previous day, and she investigated it, and she turned out to move next door, and it was the easiest, by far, the easiest move of her life. Ease. What do you have to give up for things like that to happen? Your victim story, your attachment, maybe even an addiction to struggling, maybe the Puritan work ethic, that you get value from working hard, from pushing through things, challenges, work. Hard work makes you a good human being, makes you worthy in the eyes of God. Maybe all of that is last millennium, or maybe 2 millenniums ago. And maybe God's love can take the form of ease, and it's our job to learn how to receive graciously, gracefully, and easily the unconditional love of God. And then things just flow, things just happen. But you gotta step out of fear. I think that's our biggest addiction, is fear. And then we fill up our heads with stories about how hard it's gonna be, and of course that's what we create, because we're gods. We're goddesses. We are creators with the universe. So once we start filling our head with pictures of negativity, that's the movie we're signing up for. So we got to let go of this fear thing. Fear is the core of our imagined sense of separation from God, and fear and struggle are brothers. Once you buy into fear, struggle is what your life looks like. Once you buy into love, ease is what your life looks like. So I wrote a poem about letting go of our attachment to fear. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
I'm so glad you said yes, because I didn't, I don't know what I would do. Okay. So the core fear that each human being has learned to carry, we're going to take the sword of truth, laughter, and love, and are you willing to shred it, to cut it, put it in the shredder, the universal shredder? All right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Gather, my friends, because the end times are here. Not the end of the world, but the end of your fear. So, turn off the lights. Make it dark now. I dare you. Stick around for a while. I'm going to unscare you. Now, when you were young and most things were quite swell, fear knocked on your door with a product to sell. And like most good salesmen, he cast quite a spell while selling insurance called All Is Not Well. Now, All Is Not Well came in its own case. The case that there's danger all over the place. And after you bought it, your All Is Not Well, you felt it your duty to share and to tell. And so mouth to mouth was how fear procreated, with no YouTube or Facebook to disseminate it. Fear soon went viral all over the globe, using old-time religion to dispense and promote. Because fear knew the way to get globally big was to drive a false wedge between God and her kids. That's how he came to be so domineering, by replacing God-loving with, you must be God-fearing. Then fear and religion began co-creating and cooked up a symbol of fear they called Satan, as if infinite love had a worthy opponent with pitchfork in hand who could strike any moment. The concept was great for maintaining control, making people behave as if they're on parole. Because when God-fearing people are scared for their souls, they put much more silver and gold in the bowls. So business was booming and fear kept on spreading. And fear loved the credit the devil was getting. Because fear itself likes to stay hidden from view and play hide and seek in its host, which is you. I'm not afraid, I'm just angry, it shouts. I've been mistreated and need to speak out. I'm not afraid, I'm upset and I'm caring. There's so many disguises that fear enjoys wearing. He's proud of his wardrobe because he designed it. Though he might not admit it, fear's quite clothes-minded. So he doesn't realize that he's often dressed funny, wearing layers of worry, looking like a stress bunny. And when you're not looking, he dresses you too in stress bunny outfits that don't become you. Because when you wear worry, it wears tight and stiff, from statically clinging to imagined what-ifs. Worst-case scenarios fill your projector. Then fear says, don't worry, I'll be your protector. He shows you his life insurance policy and says, here's what you get when you sign up with me. You get top-notch around-the-clock security, an armored alarm system on your body. And if you're harassed, I'm your personal bouncer. And for making decisions, I'll be your guidance counselor. No more will I let you take risks that could hurt you. Just stick with me, kid. I will never desert you. Now, all of your loved ones have already signed. Don't be a black sheep. Join the flock. You'll be fine. So you signed up and breathed a big sigh of relief because you thought you'd feel safer with fear as your chief. But the contract had fine print, too fine to be seen, and you didn't read the clause that denied you your dreams. From then on, heart's desires that came to be birthed were blocked by your fears before they could reach earth. Seemed your new policy's whole life protection was more birth controlling than all contraception. How could you conceive of a life more abundant with fear in your ear like a cable news pundit who's yelling, I'm telling the truth, fair and balanced, while drowning out most of your love, gifts, and talents? Now fear says, get real! That's his bottom line thing. And fear learned what's real from his friend Stephen King. Whose collection of books make outstanding addictions, as long as you realize you are reading fiction. Which is what you can do with your own fear collection. Just transfer them all to your mind's fiction section. Because no matter how gripping a tale fear can tell, Its original premise that all is not well is a bit topsy-turvy in this universe and deserves to be laughed off the face of the earth. And while you are laughing, you let in the light, which makes fear pack his bags and get on the next flight. Which makes fear pack his bags and get on this flight. Oh, yes, because he needs to feel needed. And when you choose joy, well then fear has no choice but to be unemployed. Now fear used to feel needed when lions were chasing you, gathering speed with intentions of tasting you. But nowadays, most of the lions we find are fictional cats, roaming round in our minds. And when you stop feeding the cats in your head, they just go away, because they're not getting fed. And with a clear head, you are free now to choose a channel that's broadcasting much better news. So you get off the couch, turn off the TV, tune into WLOVE. It's got no commercials and nothing to sell. Just a steady reminder that all is quite well. And all is quite well is insurance enough. You're already covered by a plan you can trust. You've got Universal, the original plan. And there's never a moment that you're not in good hands. You're no longer buying fear's insurance scam. Because you know every moment you are in good hands. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and feel those good hands. It's a sense of safety and all rightness. The mind cannot comprehend the vastness of your eternal safety. The mind was not designed to grasp it. It has to relax. It has to just cool it. And the divine being that you are comes through, tunes in to love, and feels, oh, all is so well. All is well. And if there is a part of your life where it just doesn't seem that all is well, like a puzzle where the pieces haven't fallen into place yet, take a step back and from this place of peace and light, go from the microcosm to the macrocosm perception where you can see all is well. All is well. There is no other plan but the divine plan. There is no other truth but all is well. So even if this isn't going my way, with a small m, the story is not over yet. And there's plenty of room for growth, healing, change. And change starts by changing my mind and shifting the perception from all is not well and releasing that judgment, that complaint, that grievance, and accepting that even though I can't see it, I'm going to trust that all is well. I'm going to trust that there's a blessing in progress, that there's a masterpiece in progress, that there's a puzzle in progress, and that I can be safe in the midst of mystery. I can be safe. I can know that I'm loved in the midst of this unfinished process. I am safe and all is well. Do not need to go to that rabbit's foot, that fear. Don't need to go there anymore. All is well. I choose to take it easy. I choose to let ease have its way with me. Non-resistance. Dropping the struggle, dropping the bags, the heavy luggage that your ego thought you had to carry. Dropping the luggage, dropping the struggle, and accepting there is an easy way through. And it's God's way. And I'm worthy of ease. Right here, right now, I allow it to be easy. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Bring that ease into the marketplace, into the room, into the physical universe. Look around and see God's world. It's a good one. And thank you. It's been a pleasure.